Hello everyone, this is Deepika Patel and welcome to the SchoolQuizz class. So let's start our class, and today we will revise the chapter 15, that is our environment, okay? And we will revise all those topics which is in the chapter 15, okay? In just 30 minutes. Okay? So let's start our class. Okay, so what is environment? So all the things which are surrounded us is known as the environment, okay? So this is the basic definition of the environment. Basically, all the living things and the non-living things is known as, which are surrounded us is known as the environment, okay? Which are surrounded us is known as the environment, okay? And we have four terms, that is the lithosphere and the hydrosphere and the atmosphere and the biosphere, okay? So what is the lithosphere? Lithosphere is the land part area, that is the earth. In the globe you can see there are continents, okay, like this, and this is the water part area. So this continents is known as the lithosphere, okay, the land part area. And the water which are present in our earth is known as the hydrosphere, okay, that is the oceans, the seas, okay. So the water part area is known as the hydrosphere. And the atmosphere, the layers present in our environment of gases, the layers of gases present in our environment in, is known as the uppermost top layer of the earth is known as the atmosphere, okay. And all those three, that is the atmosphere, the hydrosphere and the lithosphere, they together constitute a biosphere. So what is the biosphere? Biosphere simply means that supports a life, that supports a life, okay. So all these three, hydrosphere, and the lithosphere, they together constitute a biosphere, which simply means that supports a life, okay. So I hope this is clear for you. And okay, so let's move to the next slide. Okay, now we will see what is biotic and the abiotic components. So what is the biotic and abiotic components? Biotic means all those living things, and abiotic components means all those non-living things. You can see there is a picture, like this is a plant, okay. So this is a living thing. And the soil here, here is the sky, okay, the water, it is all the non-living things, okay. Which is a life, it is called the living thing, and which do not have the life, it is called the non-living things, like the biotic and the abiotic components, okay. Here this is a picture, you can see, okay. So this is a giraffe, this is an animal, and this comes under the biotic components, plants under the biotic components, soil under the abiotic components, okay. Now we will see what is producer, consumer, and the decomposer. So what is a producer? Which can prepare their own food. It means prepare their own food. Like example is the plant. So what plants do? Plants take sunlight from the atmosphere and water from the soil, okay, and prepare their food. In this is called the photosynthesis process, okay, photosynthesis process. In the photosynthesis process, what has happened? The organic compounds made by the plants, like the starch or the sugar, by the use of the inorganic substance like sunlight, okay. So what is the producer? Which can prepare their own food, like the plants, their algae also, okay. So algae comes in plant and animal also, but we will not go there. So this is a plant. Sorry, the example is the plant or the algae. Okay. Next we have consumers. So consumers which cannot prepare their own food, or who cannot, just write who. So who cannot prepare their own food. Okay. So basically they dependent on others. Okay. Like there is vegetarian, there is non-vegetarian. Okay. So we humans comes under the consumer because we dependent on the plant for food. Okay. Or we dependent on an animal for like for those who who is non-veg. Okay. So we depend on the plant and also the animal for our food. Okay. So we are the consumers. Okay. So who is called the consumer? Consumer is that they cannot prepare their own food. Okay. So they depend on others for food. Like here you can see the example of the lion, fish, okay, tortoise, okay. So all these, cow, okay, and decomposers. So is the decomposer? Basically they feed on the dead material. They feed on the dead material. And what did they do? Dead material. Basically they breaks the breaks the organic substance into the inorganic. Okay, organic substance into inorganic. Okay. When they feed on the dead material, so it becomes nutrition for the plants. Okay, for the plants. Here you can see the example of the earth form here. Okay, some bacteria which feed on the dead animals or the dead organisms. Okay, so they are the decomposers. So what is the producer? Producer who can prepare their own food, and consumers who cannot prepare their own food. Basically they depend on the others. And decomposers, they feed on the dead material and it becomes nutrition for the plants. Okay. Next we have types of consumer. So we learned producer, consumer, decomposer. Okay. So we will see types of consumer. So primary consumers there. So herbivores, okay, who feed on the producers. So what are the who is the primary consumer? That is the herbivores who feed on the producer, and producer is the plant. Okay. Okay. So herbivores feed on the producers like cow, rabbit. So they eat plant. Okay. So they are the primary consumers. Secondary consumer feed on primary consumers, means they feed on primary consumers like wolves. So wolves can eat rabbit. Okay. And tertiary consumers. Tertiary consumers like the carnivores feed on secondary consumers. So basically the carnivores feed the secondary consumers like lions can eat wolves. Okay. Now next the omnivores. So they both consume plants and animals like human being, monkey, etc. Okay. And what are the parasites? Parasites are the organisms that depend upon another organism host, who is called the host, for food and cause harmful effects or disease to the host. So the example is amoeba, bed bugs, flies, etc. Okay. So these are the parasites: omnivorous, carnivorous, primary consumers, and herbivores. Just remember these terms: herbivorous, carnivorous, and the omnivorous. So carnivorous comes under the tertiary consumer, herbivorous comes under the primary consumer. Okay. Interaction. So what is interaction? Basically, we know that in our environment there are biotic, it means living things, and there are abiotic. It means non-living things. Components, no, sorry, non-living things, components are there, okay? So there are biotic components and the abiotic components. When they interact, the biotic when interact with the abiotic, so they are called the ecosystem. So this is called the interaction. How they will interact? Let's say the example of the plant. So there is a plant. So plant do the photosynthesis, okay? And in the photosynthesis, what is used by the plant? They use sunlight, okay? They use soil, they use water. So what is all this? The sunlight, water, soil, these are the abiotic component. And plant itself, it is a biotic component. So here you can see how the biotic components interact with the abiotic components. Basically, they depend on each other, okay? And for the abiotic components interaction, you can see the example of the water cycle. In the water cycle, what happens? The the water from the ocean, they get vaporized, okay? Evaporation happen and condensation, then the precipitation happen, okay? So you know that is a water cycle. It is a continuous process, and here you can see that the abiotic components interact with the abiotic components. How? Like water is also a abiotic component, and vapor is also a abiotic component, okay? Rain is also a abiotic component. Sunlight is also an abiotic component which participate in this water cycle for the vaporization process, okay? So these are all the abiotic components which are interacting themselves, okay? So you can see the example like biotic components here. You can see biotic components interact with the abiotic and the abiotic also, and same goes with the abiotic, that abiotic interacts with the abiotic and the biotic. How? Here you can see the abiotic example of the water cycle, and for all those, that is the plant example, okay? So let's move our topic here. So what is ecosystem? All organisms such as plants, animals, microorganisms, and human beings, as well as the physical surroundings, interact with each other, and maintain a balance in nature. Maintain a balance in nature. So this is called the ecosystem. Okay. Basically, we have three words, that is the environment, ecosystem, and the ecology. So let's take an example of your school. This is a school, okay? And in your school, your friends, teachers, okay? And in your school, you have your library, math, playgrounds. So what is all this? Here you can see your friends and the teachers, they are all the living things, okay? And the library, math, playgrounds, they are all the non-living things. So basically, your school is considered as an environment. So this is an environment where the living things and non-living things is present, and when they interact, so your friends interact with the library, you go to the library to study, okay? So you are interacting. So the living things and the non-living things is interacting here. So it is called the ecosystem. And the study between the relations of the living organisms with themselves and with the environment. Living organisms with themselves and with the environment is known as the ecology, okay? So the study of relation between the living organisms with themselves and the environment is known as the ecology, okay? So I hope this is clear for you. And what is the ecosystem? All the living things and the non-living things interacting with each other to maintain a balance in the nature is known as the ecosystem, okay? Okay, so how many types of ecosystem? Like we have the natural ecosystem and we have the artificial ecosystem also. So ecosystem can be small as a in the tree like. So in a tree there is a monkey. Okay, so you can see this is the smallest ecosystem, or you can see the ecosystem of a drop of a water. Drop of water. In this drop of water there are many microorganisms. Okay, leaves. So this is the smallest ecosystem, and the biggest ecosystem like the forest. So ecosystem can be small as a water of a drop of a water, and can be big as a forest. Okay. So what is the natural ecosystem? It is provided by the nature. That is the forest. Okay. And what is the artificial ecosystem? Like a human being made ecosystem, like the garden or the aquarium. Okay. So these are the natural and the artificial ecosystem. Okay. So natural ecosystem, classification of the ecosystem. So natural ecosystem are of two types, like the terrestrial and the aquatic. The land part area and the water part area. Right? So in the terrestrial ecosystem, we have forest, grasslands, deserts, fresh. In the aquatic or the water ecosystem, we have fresh water, saline water, or the marine. They are both same, saline water and marine water. Okay. Here you can see the, so this is a forest ecosystem, this is a grassland ecosystem, this is a desert ecosystem. Okay, this is a tundra ecosystem in the cold regions. Cold regions. Here it is a aquatic ecosystem. So this is a freshwater ecosystem, and this is a marine ecosystem. Okay, marine ecosystem. So in the marine ecosystem, the salt level in a water is very high, very high. And in the freshwater ecosystem, the salt level is very low. Okay, low. So this is the basic difference between the freshwater and the marine water ecosystem. Now we will understand what is food chain and food web. So what is the food chain? So all the living beings which is being eaten or being eaten by the other organisms, and the energy is transferred from the one organism to the other organism to maintain a balance in the nature is known as the food chain. Okay, basically what is happened, like we have producers, we have consumers. Okay, so there is a chain or the sequence formed for the food, for the food. Like let's say example, there is a plant. Okay, so this plant is eaten by the deer, and this deer is eaten by the lion. So you can see there is a chain is formed. So this particular chain will comes under the food chain. This is called the food chain. Okay, and how many levels are there? There is 1, 2 and the 3. So there are 3 levels. 3 levels. And what is the food web? Food web is the network of the food chain. Network of the food chain. Okay. So these are called the food web. For a particular food, there are many organisms. Okay. For a particular food, there are many organisms. Like there is a deer. So deer can be eaten. Sorry, there is a lion. So lion can eat deer or can eat wolf. Okay. So he have the option for the food. Okay. So this food web helps to increase population, increase population, and this food chain does not. Okay, because there is a particular series or the sequence. Okay, so what is the difference between the food chain and the food web? Food chain and the food web. So this is a network of the food chain, network of food chain, and this is a particular series or the chain. Okay, this does not help in increasing population, do not help in increasing population, and food web does. Okay, does. Okay, so food chain is a part of food web, is a part of food web, food web. And in the food chain there are maximum level like fourth or fifth. Okay, fourth or fifth, but in the food web there is no restrictions for the level, there is no restriction. Now we will see what is trophic level, energy flow, and the biological magnification. So trophic level is basically like, let's say this is a plant and this plant is eaten by the grasshopper, and this grasshopper eaten by the frog, then snake, then snake is eaten by the eagle. Okay, so these are the level. So this is the first level, this is the second, this is the third, this is the fourth, and this is the fifth. So these are called the trophic levels. Now what is the energy flow? Basically when the plant is eaten by the grasshopper, or you can say when the organism is eaten by other organisms, there is some energy which is transferred from the organisms to the other organisms. Okay, like when plant is eaten by the grasshopper and grasshopper is eaten by the frog, and frog is eaten by the snake, and snake is eaten by the eagle. So there are some energy which is transferring from the plant to the grasshopper, grasshopper to the frog, and frog to the snake, and snake to the eagle. Okay, basically plants, from where the plants to get the energy. So plants get the energy from the sun. Okay, and it is not necessary that all the energy which is getting plant from the sun is observed by the grasshopper. Okay, or you can say they observed by the plant. Only the 1% energy from the sun is observed by the plant, and from the plants, when the trophic level comes, so from the plants to the eagle, the 10% law is followed for the energy flow. Like if let's say the 10,000 is energy in the plants. Okay, and when the grasshopper is eating, sorry, when this plant is eaten by this grasshopper, so only the 10% of the 10,000 energy is transferred to the grasshopper. Why? Because plants also have some works, like they do the photosynthesis. Okay, so some energy is lost in the photosynthesis. Okay, and some energy is stored. So when the grasshopper is eating the plant, so only the 10% of the energy is transferred to the grasshopper. Like, so grasshopper get the 1,000 energy, and also grasshopper also do some work, and some energy is stored in the grasshopper. So only 10% energy is transferred to the frog. So frog gets 100 energy. Okay, and same follows. So snake gets 10 energy, and same follows. So eagle gets 1 energy. So you can say after this there will be no energy which is transferring. So eagle is the topmost consumer. Okay, and fifth level is the maximum level in this food chain. So these are the energy flow which is transferring from the lower level to the higher level. Okay, and in the energy flow there is 10% law follow. Now what is biological magnification? Here you can see there is a plant eating by the grasshopper. Okay, then it is eaten by the frog, then it is eaten by the snake and eagle. Okay, so when this plant grows, so it observes some fertilizers. Okay, so some chemicals to grow these plants. Okay, so these chemicals or these fertilizers, some residue is present in the plants, and when it is eaten by the grasshopper, so these pollutants also going to the pollutants also going to the grasshopper. Okay, so these pollutants is getting increased by every level, and these increased pollutants, which is from the lower to the trophic level, which is increasing, is called the biological magnification. Remember that when the energy flow, so energy is decreasing from the lower to the trophic level, is decreasing from lower to the higher trophic level, from low to higher trophic level. Okay, and when biological magnification happens, so pollutants is increasing, is tend is increasing from low to high trophic level. Okay, so these are the basic difference, low to high. So these are called the biological magnifications. Now we will see ozone depletion and the managed garbage. So what is ozone? So ozone formula is the O3, and it is a product of the UV rays. Okay, so how ozone forms? There is a oxygen in the atmosphere, so UV rays react with that. Okay, and it breaks into the free molecules. So basically in a atmosphere there are free molecules and oxygen is present, so oxygen react with this, combine with this free molecule and form the ozone. So this ozone alone is a poisonous gas, but when it comes in a layer above the earth, above the atmosphere of the earth, so it is helpful for us to protect from the UV rays. Okay, so this is interesting, like ozone is the product of the UV rays, but it also helps to protect us from the UV rays. Okay, now ozone rays, ozone layer is depletion. Ozone layer is So what is ozone depletion? Ozone depletion. So ozone depletion is the process where, see, we have chemicals, some chemicals in our atmosphere like the CFC. Okay, and where it comes from, like the refrigerators, air conditioners, fire extinguishers. Okay, so in the CFCs we have chlorine gas, and chlorine gas reacts with the ozone, and it makes thin this layer. Okay, so this is called the ozone layer. Ozone depletion. Ozone depletion, where ozone layer is affecting by these harmful chemicals. Okay, so this is called the ozone depletion. Now what is the managed garbage? So see, in our atmosphere we have two types of garbage, like the biodegradable and the non biodegradable. So what are the biodegradable? It means going back to the earth. It can be reduced going back to earth by the biological process, by the bacteria, fungus. Okay, and this can be reduced to the manure and the biogas. Okay, but these are not going back to the earth, so that's why they are harmful to us, our atmosphere or our environment. Okay, and this can be reduced to a like recycled. Okay, we can reuse it, and in this we can say the example of the plastic, metal cans. Okay, so these are the non biodegradable garbage. Okay, so how we can manage? We can reduce biodegradable garbage into manure and the biogas, and non biodegradable garbage reduced into we can reduce it as a recycle or the reused. Okay, so these are all the topics from your chapter 15 in our environment, and I hope this is clear for you. So let's end this class here, and we will also do the revision of the chapter 8. Okay, so reproduction chapter. So let's end this class here, and thank you for joining the class. Thank you again.